This has been doing damage since it's been in Arkansas. It did damage in Missouri. It's done damage now in Kentucky, and there is no reason to believe this is not going to continue to do damage. This is the tornado right here. That is it.
Yeah, it's on the Purchase Parkway right now.
Now, focus on what we're telling you. Cover your head in a bathtub. Lay down in your bathtub, innermost room. Take the kids with you. You must be there now.
This time looks like it is going to head right into Mayfield. Very concerning for Mayfield right now as this is moving into their
the regular radar, because I want to see if our debris ball is staying with us, and it is. Okay, Mayfield, guys, listen.
And that evening we were home. Of course, it had already gotten dark, and Trent had come on, the weatherman had come on the TV, and it wasn't a matter if, it was when it was going to get there.
But I do remember going down and seeing the trees, and they were trying to get through there because that was fresh. I mean, our road was, the houses was gone.
I heard Trent say, I had the TV on, I heard Trent say, Mayfield, take cover. So I rushed my daughter and granddaughter into one of my bathrooms, and I went into the other bathroom.
And I remember looking over in that direction, and every time it would lighten, I would see the thundercloud. And I kept looking at this thundercloud every time it would lighten, and I thought, that is an odd looking thundercloud. I'd never seen one like it. And then it finally dawned on me, I wasn't looking at a thundercloud, I was looking at the actual tornado. And the size of it, it was huge. And the next thought I had was, who's over that way? And I had friends that I went to church with that lived over in that direction, had actually several that lived over that way.
And then all of a sudden I felt stuff falling on top of me. And I'm thinking, what could be falling on me? But my neighbor's house had fell onto my house.
And there was a building in the middle of the highway, and it was stacked up as tall as the electric pole.
And whenever we turned down our road, I believe for a split second I'm going, at least the house is still standing. It didn't take the house. It took our shop and everything that was in it, and it was all gone. And everything was splattered all out through there. But it didn't take the house.
What they're going to do for the long term. And so the word long term began to be discussed. And it's hard to talk about long term when you still got so many recovery needs that had to be taken care of. And so to begin sifting through that with leaders, hearing this and that from different leaders. So eventually we wound up meeting and having a community meeting at a local church.
I think a lot of time too, we were kind of waiting on permission. I don't know who would have given us permission, but we were waiting on permission for someone to give us, to put all the groups together and start working together in this form of a long-term recovery group. What we came to realize is we didn't really have to have permission, we just needed support.
And so it really came on the backs of our community leaders, community organization leaders, to really step up. You know, there was financial needs, there was volunteer needs, there was housing needs, there's donations of supplies, and there's all kinds. I mean, case management became so important to us because the question we kept asking was like, how do we know what they need? How do we know what they're getting? How do we know the other groups aren't double giving and we're wasting resources? Well, case management, we had to learn how important that was to our recovery process. So we had to train up people or find partners to help us train case managers as quick as possible.
As Vice President of Case Management, I have a responsibility to our team, to our partners, and to our community to make sure partner dollars are used to the best support survivors. With the help of case managers, we are able to narrow down how we can support those individuals and make sure that we do not have any duplication of benefits. By ensuring there is no duplication, we are able to make our funding stretch to ensure we have enough to fund everyone down to the last survivor. As many people know, millions of dollars from around the world were donated to the Team Western Kentucky Fund that was set up by the Governor's Office. Those funds have had an incredible impact on meeting the needs of survivors who are recovering. Long-term recovery groups in each county that were impacted were tasked with connecting survivors to these funds. With a limited timeline, we couldn't pass up the opportunity to get survivors the help that they needed. So we hired navigators to fill that gap. Our navigators processed hundreds of applications, resulting in over $860,000 of that fund, landing in the hands of survivors right here in Graves County.
You know, just hearing those survivors come to me and say, you have no idea, you know, how much this helped. It was not nearly enough, you know, to recover them, but it was a step forward and a step in making them feel like somebody's going to help me, you know, and I don't have to do this all alone. So it was a good feeling being able to be part of that.
Hay una grieta, una barrera creada por las diferencias culturales y por el idioma que dificulta a las personas buscar la ayuda que necesitan. Los sistemas establecidos no funcionan igual para todo el mundo y muchas familias no reciben la ayuda que necesitan. Por eso todavía tenemos muchas familias, muchas personas que no han solicitado asistencia. Por estas barreras, muchas personas no reciben ayuda o la ayuda tarda demasiado en llegar a ellos. Es como llevar agua en las manos, mucha agua se pierde entre los dedos. Trabajar con LTRG me ayuda a conectar con personas que han pasado desapercibidos para el sistema y con personas que piensan que no merecen recibir ayuda. Después de 2 años en el esfuerzo de recuperación, todavía vemos personas mayormente de trasfondo hispano que están buscando ayuda. Hace solo 2 semanas puse un comentario en mi página de Facebook hablando sobre los servicios que proveemos en LTRG. 4 personas me han enviado preguntas, me han enviado mensajes, personas que no sabían que hay ayuda disponible para ellos. Para eso estoy aquí, para eso estamos aquí, para conectar con estas personas y encaminarles en la dirección correcta para que reciban la ayuda que necesitan.
Once case management has identified a home or survivor need, I'll go out and see how we can assist with any construction or repair needs that they may have. Our goal is simple, to make sure that every home we come into contact with is safe, sanitary, and secure. And when we assess a home, we'll have one of our dedicated contractors or a volunteer team head out to make that repair. Many times we have multiple projects going on at the same time. And thankfully, we have dedicated partners that come alongside us that help us keep things flowing for the survivors in their recovery. Some of those partners are groups like ICC and Appalachia Service Project, and these groups are instrumental in making the recovery happen. We're thankful for the continued partnership we have with groups like these and for the robust group of volunteers that come in week after week.
A large part of our mission as a long-term recovery group is met through the hard work and dedication of a very strong volunteer base. We're fortunate to have volunteers from all over the United States, many of them coming back multiple times to assist survivors in rebuilding. When they reach out to us, we immediately look to get them on the calendar, find them a location to stay, and begin working to see how we can pair them with projects that match their volunteer skill level. Between a phenomenal logistics and construction team, we make sure that we've got materials on site so that volunteers can get right to work. From time to time, we even have an overflow of volunteers and are able to coordinate with other local organizations to send LTRG volunteers to sites that they have. At the end of the day, it's about furthering our mission in recovering survivors.
And a warehouse made sense for this type situation that happened to Mayfield. You needed a central location that you could pull all these materials to, have a place that volunteers could organize at, so we could organize that effort to where they could go out and do the best effort they could for the time they were here. It's just a warehouse to do something like this is tremendous to have, where we have offices to where we have our case managers come in, all of our co-workers that are here, that we can collaborate with, to see what we need to get done that week or next week to make sure that we have the goods going in the right directions. It's just vital to deal with a disaster like that we went through.
The Mayfield Graves Long-Term Recovery Group exists to ethically and efficiently meet the needs of disaster-impacted survivors. For us, this goes far beyond our commitment to helping survivors gain access to safe, sanitary, and secure housing. Our mission is to help survivors achieve a holistic recovery by connecting them with local, regional, and even national resources that will help them recover spiritually, emotionally, physically, and financially. Almost 2.5 years post-disaster, we stand firm in our resolve, driven by the belief that every individual, regardless of race, religion, socioeconomic status, deserves a chance to rebuild their future.
The Mayfield Graves Long-Term Recovery Group is continuing to provide direct care for survivors of the December 2021 tornado and the July 2023 flash flood in our community. We recognize that our impact could not be possible without the continued support of nonprofit partner organizations, financial and material donors, and volunteer teams who continue to travel to the community from all over the United States. Thank you for giving back and investing in our recovery. I would like to recognize the leadership and staff of the LTRG who have poured themselves out to serve and restore our community, and will do so until the work of recovery is completed. As you've seen, there are many selfless people working behind the scenes day in and day out. We believe that every survivor deserves an equitable opportunity for recovery and a full life and future. We're determined to make that happen. Please be a part of that with us.